my dears. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, 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 hi. Hello. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Come on down to our call today. Super excited to be with you. Okay, as we let people keep coming in, I wanted to share a few thoughts with you. And for those catching the recording, these can be some things that you come back to. Especially at this point in our time together, I want to remind you that just because you're not doing it perfectly doesn't mean you're somehow not doing it. And that's everything. Improving your work, improving your business, changing things around, trying new things, taking risks, whatever it is that you feel like there's some gap between where you are and where you want to be. And we're all, navigating that gap and finding ways to close that gap. But it's not an overnight process, is it? And I just want to remind you that just because you're not doing it perfectly, you're not doing it constantly, doesn't mean you're somehow not doing it. Same thing with any other area of your life that you feel like, gosh, I'm just really not as far along as I wish I was. Just because you're not doing it perfectly doesn't mean you're not doing it. The other thing I want to remind you of is to not mistake consistency for constancy. Right? A lot of times we think that being consistent, whether that's in our work, in our posting, in our business, in our marketing, in whatever, means that we have to somehow be doing it constantly. And that is not the case at all. So that's why I really recommend, getting some rhythms to your business that can support you so that you're not constantly feeling like, gosh, there's something I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not doing it. Or I should be X, Y, Z, ABC, and feeling not only the self berating for that, but also the energy leakage that happens if you're constantly wondering what you should be doing or thinking you should be doing something differently or thinking that you should be different than you are. So just for the next couple moments, let's practice seeing things as they are and being a little friendlier towards exactly what is. So as you just come into presence a little bit, come into your body, come into your seat, and start to feel like, okay, here I am. Feel a sense of arrival. Feel the support under you. Is it your seat, a chair? What's supporting you right now? That feeling of being supported, so delicious and delightful. And just see if you can sink and relax into that seat, whatever's supporting you, and just let it hold you. That maybe you don't have to do anything right now. Just let it support you. And as we're starting to notice our breathing, notice our bodies, if there are strong thoughts or feelings that come up for you, especially if they're thoughts of resistance or distraction, see if you can be a little friendly toward those. Oh, hey, there you are. It's okay that you're here, resistance. It's okay that you're here, irritation, anger, disappointment, whatever's here that you would maybe deem negative or shy away from. See if we can make friends with it. Just a little smile towards it. And if you're not able to extend that towards that feeling right now, see if we can just accept that. We pile on so many layers of pain when we resist. When we resist our resistance, and then we get in pain about being in pain, get angry about being angry. There's something closer and friendlier that's just as close as the experience itself. It doesn't have to be layered with any meaning, positive or negative. Non-judgment. Just take a few breaths here. Maybe you notice some sounds. You can invite that into your awareness. Maybe you're able to really tune into that breath. A couple more moments here. And if your mind wanders, which it will, just know that the victory is noticing that it's wandered and just gently resetting. You can start over anytime. A couple more breaths here. All right. When you're ready, just gently opening your eyes and coming back to us here together. Hello! Shall we do this? Kelly, you're here. I'm not sure if Rosie's going to be able to hop on today, so we're going to start with you. How can we help? What can we give some feedback on? What you got?
Okay. I am coming in less prepared than I wanted to be, for sure.
That's perfect.
Coming off a long spring break week. I know that pretty much people have been doing like websites and Instagram. We could do my website. I feel like fairly good about where my Instagram feed is right now. My website doesn't get a lot of love from me, so.
Okay. I want to know, are you thinking / wanting to address the website in the near future or not really?
I don't know. I get almost none of my business from my website. So I think in a way it does need to be addressed. I just started a SEO course that I'm going to look at. I think, could be that I'm getting no business from my website because my website gets no traffic.
Have
I don't
you
know.
looked at those analytics?
No, I don't monitor it. No. And I did I did look at it this morning because I was like, oh gosh, if I'm going to have people look at it, I need to like throw up a few new things.
Nothing like this to make you like do a thing when you otherwise would let the whole internet look at it.
Right. Yeah, I get pretty much almost all my business through Instagram or word of mouth referral. So.
Okay. Where's your future self? 2 years from now, what's she doing?
I don't know.
Hang on a minute. I don't know. After all the exercises that we've done connecting you to her, you're like, yeah. I don't know you.
I feel like my life is filled with a lot of instability. So I probably have turned away from making a lot of plans and futurized thinking. because so this is a quote that someone shared that I just thought was really funny. Expectations are premeditated disappointments. Did I share that already? That has proven true for me. So I think that this space and time in my life, I've just given a lot of room to what that future is going to look like, and just being full of flexibility to, no, I guess it's not that I don't want to make goals, but it's more of like, I want my future self to be pretty open to meeting whatever needs I'll have at that point. So I don't know what that's going to look like for my business. I've really only been doing this for 2 years. Um, and it's been like 2 pandemic years, so it kind of,
And
everything feels a little up in the
totally,
air.
totally. So think to the last 2 years and all of
Mhm.
the obstacles and crazy crap that you have dealt with, and like everything that you have accomplished and been excited to do despite all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Why would the future be any different is my question. Like, arguably the last 2 years have been way harder than the next 2 years would seem to be.
Right.
And you have had life, you've had kids, you've had demands, you've had twists and turns, you've had really challenging stuff happen in the last 2 years. And yet here you are. So I'm so into this idea of leaving it open and giving yourself flexibility and building something that doesn't require you to be a slave to it. But can we also support that future self in a different way where we say, hey, like, I'm going to hook you up because I know that you're still going to have this desire. You're still going to have a desire for all the boxes that photography ticks for you. An
Mhm.
outlet for yourself and a way to express art and like all these different things that it fulfills for you.
Mhm.
So I would just hate for you to be like, I'm going to leave it open and then just
Right.
have your future self be like, thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing. Like
Sure.
you didn't hook me up and now I'm starting over. Like,
Yeah.
so
No,
let's
I get
focus
that.
on
I get that.
building a future business and a future version of you that is flexible, that is open, that supports what you want to be. It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be a strict, time-bound something or other, or any traditional like goal setting anything, if that doesn't feel good to you right now at this point in your life. Totally hear that. Totally want that for you. But that doesn't, like, there's a middle ground here where we don't have to be like, I don't know,
Right.
and we can
Okay.
just like be a little gentler and also say like, what are the containers and the offers that I might want to put together that support that feeling of freedom and openness?
Mhm. Okay. This is going to be maybe not what you're looking for. I don't know. This is
I'm
very
looking for, no, stop. I'm looking for you to look
okay.
for whatever you're going to do. Like, this is not about me.
Okay. Well, I am definitely experimenting with the boundaries of what this business looks like for me, and compared to like the average photographer. Um, I have a lot of flexibility to kind of make it what I want, I guess. Um, Whereas a lot of other people I know don't have that, so it's like, it's got to be a business, it's got to make this much money, it's got to do this and be all these things. So that being said, like, 2 years from now, hopefully we'll be in our new house and I'll have a studio, and I want to have freedom to do things that make me happy there. So, you know, I think that I've really resonated with and loved this idea of making motherhood feel beautiful, because especially for me personally, it's not it's not,
Mhm,
you know?
mhm,
And so there's this, not, and I struggled with that for a little while. Is like, okay, is this an inauthentic thing? Like, am I trying to glamorize something that's not, and not being true to what it is? And but I think what it is really is like, it's my expression of what I want it to be and what I
mhm.
want it to look like, and like what in these teeny moments it still can be to us moms. You know, like in my Instagram today, I threw up a beautiful picture. I mean, and this mom is like gorgeous, you know, and she's got these two sweet little kids that are playing on her. And my caption was, playground equipment, but make it beautiful. You know, and it's like my idea of what God was saying when he creates moms, you know, and he's like, I just love this idea of something that can be dressed up aesthetically. Maybe it's like the makeup thing for you. I don't know, but it's like this, taking this thing that is universal and is important and special, but also so hard and so messy and so underappreciated and all of these things, and giving it like a trophy, you know, just like giving it this award of like, one day come in and feel beautiful in your motherhood. And it's not fake or inauthentic for who you are, but it's like the polishing of that nugget of truth that's inside you, that this is beautiful. And this is my way as an artist of showing that what I'm doing, what we're all doing, is worth something and it's beautiful. So, you know, even though I don't, you know, wear these gorgeous dresses and do my hair and makeup and lay down with my kids and they're all perfect, it still communicates this idea or this granular piece here that's like, this thing that I'm doing is art and it's beautiful and it should be portrayed that way at least as much as I can. Make sense?
Love
Okay.
that. So everything that you just said, that's your central brand story. So
Yeah,
I want you to talk about that as much as you can possibly stomach.
Right. Okay.
So about it.
So that was my thought with like using my studio is a way that I can kind of control some of the variables a little bit more, where I can be like, this is a motherhood session and this is what I'm going to have you come in here and do. And so that's why I was saying I would really like to have that versus something that's not really life-giving to me is like, you know, like location scouting and another family in a field and, you know, and they're going to be all stressed out and it's not
totally,
it's something that I'll do, but I don't look forward to it.
So why is it something that you'll do then? Because you just told me you have so much flexibility to not do it. So is it that you want to like exercise that muscle of like, I can do this? Or is it that you just...
I think it's more that I love these people that I meet. Like when these families come in and I meet them and I meet their children and I sit in these quiet moments with them when I'm, you know, just the mom and me, when she's in my studio, bringing her baby in and all this. And it's like, I give them something for their family. And it's probably two things. Like I love to be needed and appreciated and like valued, but I also have a connection and relationship with them where it's like, I want to continue to serve them, if that makes sense. So when they ask, I'm like, yes, but I don't do a lot of marketing to my old clients who are having babies turning one, like, hey, let's get out and do a family session, you know. And maybe that looks different. Like maybe I can figure out a way to do that in home, which is partly kind of the push towards coming out to the Love Soaked retreat was like, I want to do this a little differently because as much as I love some of the images I've created of like families in a field, it's just not, it doesn't speak to me in my artist heart. And I'd rather it be like a more intimate, vulnerable, comfort thing in their home.
Love it. So what's stopping you from saying like, between now and when the studio is open, I am only posting and sharing and publicizing in home or like in studio, your room?
Oh yeah. Well, house. You know, probably because I really like greens too. I like the looks of all those things. I don't like the feel of what it takes from me to do it. So maybe I just need to figure out that piece. Like, is there a way I can do those things in a life-giving way? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's like one or two locations that you would say like, oh, you want outdoors? This is where I shoot. And it's the best. for these
That's
reasons.
probably what I should do. I do have my spaces. I just feel like I've had a few people give me feedback of like, well, we did it there last time. And so I feel like it's boring and I've got to always find something new. But maybe
Yeah.
you're right. Maybe I just say, well, that's where I shoot.
Yeah. And if you want to tell them like, hey, here's this other session that I did there that looks different than
Mm-hmm.
your session, and show them like what variety you can get there. Like I shoot at the same beach 99% of the time. It's the same exact beach.
Mm-hmm.
And there's tons of variety at that location. So I'm assuming your location is similar. And so you can tell them like, hey, if you want outdoor, like this is where we go. Or if you want in home or in studio, like we can do that too.
Do you have the same families coming back and doing beach sessions in the same place?
I haven't yet, but a lot of mine are from out of town and that kind of
Right.
thing. So, but that's up to you. That to me is like a very minor
Mm-hmm.
issue. Like maybe you have 3 locations total
Right.
in home, 1 field location, 1 other location for people who've already done the field with you.
Yeah.
Like it does not have to be this like, oh my gosh, I have to go reinvent the wheel and do 5 million locations for these families that are coming back to me.
Mm-hmm.
But my instinct for you, Kelly, would be to like, yeah, you can solve this location problem. It's not a big deal. And then let's think a little bit more about like how you want to use this time that you have between now and your studio to to satisfy your own artistic goals and vision, because that is something that you could do. So I would like to see you do some like a project. I know you didn't have a chance to really do a project when we got back from the retreat. So is that something that you feel you could do in the next little while?
Maybe. I did kind of do so I do have a studio. It's in my home. It's just a guest room, but I don't love it because it's like, I have to clean my whole house up and they have to come upstairs and,
Right.
But I did do a little like motherhood focused, I guess it was a project really in that studio. And I just took 2 different moms and did model calls. And I love that. Also, I love doing model calls. I wish I could do all my sessions and not get paid for them because I just feel so much happier and more free and just like I can experiment and I don't feel any kind of pressure. I think that's the thing is like any situation where I'm feeling pressure is like I've got enough of that in other spaces in my life and I don't probably handle it well anyway, working on that. So if it's like if I have nervous pressure, I'm not happy. So maybe that's why I love these things that are more predictable, like in the studio or with a mom and a kids and no dad.
And that's what I'm saying is like, there's nothing stopping you. That's what I'm trying to get you to see, Kelly, is like, there is literally nothing stopping you from doing exactly what you want to do.
But that's like a bad business. That's no business at all.
No, you're still going to get paid to do certain shoots, but you're having the exact parameters on them that you want. You're going to do your model calls with the like dream shoots that you want to have. And you're going to be shocked and the 2 are going to start to merge. I've had this happen to me so many times where I like do a model call and then I actually become friends with that family and then they hire me later. Like it's a great, like when you have that sort of timeline and flexibility, it works out. It's not going to be just like a one-time thing and for nothing. So I would like to see you then have some other branches to your business that can give you more flexibility too. So you talked about a preset.
Yeah.
Or was it a preset, one preset or like a preset pack or editing something?
Well, no, it's more of like, I'm just getting messages a lot and fielding messages pretty frequently with people who are wanting to, asking me questions like, how do you edit? And then asking me if I sell my presets, because I'll say, no, I don't use a preset, I use my own. And then asking me to like walk them through a lot. I mean, it's a lot of like people asking me to mentor them.
Yep. So is
And
this something that you want to, it sounds like this is something you want to do, but that you want to do hands off. Am I right on that?
maybe I don't mind doing it a little bit, but I'm like, at some point it reaches a point where I'm like, hey, I can't just teach all of you today. Like I need to be able to put this time into my business or my life.
Yeah, I want you to get paid for whatever help you're giving people.
Yeah,
People who are messaging you, you owe them nothing. You don't owe them anything.
yeah,
And it would be
that's hard.
so delicious and delightful if you just said like, hey, I have a free class about this, or I have a free PDF download.
Mhm.
Here you go. Write it out one time. It's free. Then they can buy the preset.
Yeah,
Or
I
you
would be
have like
happy.
your
I'd be
top 3 editing tips that are
right.
for free that you can send people to. Do this one time so that you're not constantly doing
Mhm.
this over and over and over and messaging people all day. Yeah, no, I agree. That's not a good use of your time and energy.
I'd be happy to sell my preset or sell a few of them because
Sweet.
I use a bunch, but I don't want to deal with people coming back to me and being like, I used your preset on this and it doesn't look right. What's wrong? And me having to walk them through like how to shoot or stuff like that, or why it doesn't. It's kind
Yep.
of like buy it anonymously. Don't come back to me.
Okay. So Kelly, you're like me. You want everything.
Ah, yeah.
And I love that so much for you, and you can have it. But for any way that you go, anything that you pursue, anything that you set down to not pursue in this business that you're creating is going to come with a cost of admission. So the cost of admission for selling a preset and having people have a good experience on the other side, it's probably having some sort of support or like mechanism where people can troubleshoot some things, or you have like a really detailed pre-process where you show them this is for you if XYZ. It's not for you for your like very dimly lit birthday party pictures of your kid. It
Right.
like you need to just be super specific about that with them. And yeah, is selling your preset gonna take some upfront work? Yeah, it is. Do I think it's gonna be less than you think it is? Also, yes. And do you have to personally do the customer service for them to have a good experience? No, they don't need to hear from you. If they're coming back to somebody, it doesn't have to be you. So I would like to see you focus a little bit more on like, okay, what is my dream day, dream average day in my business in a couple years? Like, is it my dream that on a Wednesday, 2 years from now, I wake up and I have several sales of my preset? And I know that somebody else is taking care of the customer service. And I have a shoot that day. What is the shoot and where is it and who is it with? And do I have total freedom because I know them and I'm getting paid? Or is it a model call and I'm getting paid by a brand, or like some other scenario that you can come up with that way?
Okay.
But like you're so focused on the how and the right now of like, oh, this would take a lot of work for me right now, or this is gonna like be this or that, that I think your future self is gonna be upset with you if you only focus on like, I want to do things that bring me joy and nothing else.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because the preset, I think, is a great path to pursue because it's gonna bring you so much joy to see all these people being able to edit and use your preset that haven't been able to get their stuff to look the way they want it to yet. And it's gonna bring you a lot of joy and like validation to be like, hey, look, I got these sales and I was with my kids. It's gonna be so fun. Like that's gonna be so fun for you.
Okay.
And all you have to figure out, the only cost of admission, you already have the presets made.
Right.
The only cost of admission is figuring out a customer service aspect to it, whether that's like a big front end, yes, This is for you. If no, it's not for you for these types of photos, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, testing some things out for people. And then figuring out and then just selling it. And that's it.
Okay. I'm going to spend a little more time thinking about what I would want that not average, that good day in my business in a couple years to look like. That's good.
Because this is the thing, Kelly. I just don't think you're going to have, like, you want to be available for anything that needs to shift in these 2 years. And I hear you on that. And I'm so into that. But I don't think that all your desires that led you to this in the first place are going to magically go away in 2 years to the point where, like, you're content just doing a random shoot once a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's a model call in your studio.
Yeah.
But maybe
Yeah,
I'm wrong on
feel
that.
this, I don't know. I feel this, like, inside, just like, oh, I gotta have freedom. I gotta have freedom. It's like,
And that's why I'm pushing the
so
preset.
strong.
That's why I'm pushing the preset, because the preset is your biggest ticket to freedom.
I don't know. I feel like it's like a back end thing I'm gonna have to worry about monitoring. Like, is this working properly? I don't know.
Set it up
hard.
and figure out if it's working properly, and then that's it. Yeah, you're gonna have to check in with it maybe once a week and make sure it's all working.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I'm just trying to get you to see the actual time that you're gonna spend on the back end once it's all up and running is minutes. It's not hours.
Okay. I like the idea of having some kind of course that's free that goes with it to probably try to troubleshoot for a lot of the things that people may have issues with.
I did not say course. I said PDF download. I would like to make that clear. Kelly, you are so hilarious to me because you're here telling me, like, hey, I just want things to bring me joy and I want to work in a way that, like, feels really good to me. And you're like, but actually I'm just over here spending, like, hours a day on Instagram messaging people and telling them how to edit their photos because they're asking me.
What's wrong with me? That's right.
No, nothing's wrong with you. I'm just telling you, like, there's an easier way, and it is the way where you get paid for all of it.
You're right. I
Because
think
here's the
that
other
I have
thing
I have my own issues with that too, where I feel guilty about, like, I don't need to get paid and I can just help somebody,
Let me tell you about that. Oh my goodness. Did you order up a fresh Brooke Schultz soapbox for yourself? Because you're about to get one. My baby's sleeping. He's going to wake up if I keep yelling like this.
So sorry.
The payment does not have to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
It will be for you. If you don't have to get paid, that's awesome. But even with that being said, you getting paid for this, it's an energetic exchange. Right now, you are expending all this energy helping people, and you're not getting anything back energetically other than just, like, the juice of I helped somebody. And that's so great, but that's not sustainable, especially when you're saying, like, I see that this isn't a good use of my time. I want to be spending it on my business or on my art or on my kids or whatever. So you can just see it as energy, that it's a way for you to feel like that expenditure that you have helping people is giving something to you back in kind. And you're right, you can help people without getting paid, and that's going to be through your freebie, through, like, maybe any other education that you might want to do, where, like, you're going to start to sell this preset and you're going to teach on the motherhood anthology again, and you're going to then in turn have the preset to sell, and that's going to help. Like, you poured all that time and energy into your motherhood anthology class, and you felt like you didn't get paid enough to teach that class, right?
I mean, I definitely was underpaid for the amount of effort that went in, for sure.
So, but you
But I
just told me
agree
you
to
don't need to
that.
get paid. You just told me you don't need to get paid. So, what's that
Well,
about?
yeah, I know. I think that it's like, here's the thing. I shouldn't have been paid more because they didn't tell me, hey, I'm going to pay you more. They told me up front. I just I don't like to do something unless I do it like really good, So it's like, it was my own fault that I spent all that time and effort into trying to put something out that was good
But
and helpful,
here's what I'm trying to help you see is that you're telling me I don't need to get paid. I can just help people. And
Hmm.
yet you've already had experiences where you got paid and you gave a lot more and you helped people.
Uh-oh, he froze. Did she freeze for anybody else?
People a lot more.
Oh, there you
I'm
are.
here.
Okay.
I'm back. Okay, I think at 11:35 a.m. on the dot, my internet connection goes out and then comes right back. I don't know. Really
So I
crazy.
think I
Okay, but I was
figured something
saying
out while you were frozen. Maybe you said something important that I need to come back to, but I think I figured out I don't want to help people. I mean, I don't want to help random people. That's
amazing.
not true. Like, I do want to help people that I love and that I know and that I've met and have a really good connection to and all of that. And I want to pour my energy out into that. Like, I would rather create a community of motherhood photographers in Little Rock that gets together and helps each other and like loves on each other's businesses and invests in a personal, real relationship than like feel like I need to help all the people. So I don't think I want to help people.
Yeah, beautiful. It's a beautiful realization. So what I'm trying to help you see is that there is not you're creating this dichotomy right now between like I don't need to get paid so I feel a little guilty about getting paid, but I also want to get paid so I feel a little bit guilty about like wanting to get paid. And I just want to remove the layer of like feeling a little bit guilty about wanting to get paid even though you quote unquote don't need to get paid, because you need to get paid for your energy, number one. But number two, it is in best service of all the people to let them pay you,
Mm-hmm.
because people don't pay attention until they pay money.
That's right.
Those people that you're helping, yeah, a portion of them are taking what you're giving them and like really implementing it. And they're so, so grateful. And you did help them. And then you're depleted for it. But there's another portion of those people that are just like, okay, cool, thanks. And they're not paying enough attention.
That's true.
So when they buy your preset, then they pay attention and they figure out, okay, here's how I have to change things or adjust whatever to to make this investment worth it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Gemma stayed homesick today. She was throwing up all night. So
Oh,
she's at the door at the moment. Okay, so Kelly, I would like to see you make some plans.
okay.
And when you make the plans, you're going to make them with that future self in mind, in the sense that you know that she wants freedom. You know that she doesn't want to be tied down to anything specific. But you
Mm-hmm.
also know that she really wants the studio and she's going to have the studio and she wants to utilize that. And I see you having a ton of success and impact through getting your mind and heart wrapped around this idea of like, I can get paid even if I don't need to. That's what's
Mm-hmm.
going to grow your impact. Like all of the juicy nuggets that you shared at the beginning about motherhood being like so beautiful, and you being able to highlight that and put a spotlight on it and give these women experience where they come into the studio and just for one day, just for like 2 hours, feel the impact of what they're creating. Like you want that to impact as many people as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a
Yeah.
leading question. Apologies for the leading question on that. But if you just stay small and just keep saying, I don't need to get paid, it's okay, then those women don't get to get impacted and seen by you. They have to go somewhere else. And
Okay.
that is a crying shame because you have a gift to share with them, and that cannot be fully expressed without that energetic exchange that happens. And is that always going to be money? No. But money is a really great invention that we've all agreed to that
Yeah.
works out for that energetic exchange.
Okay.
Okay, soapbox over. So what are you going to do to like sort of next steps? What feels good to you to pursue?
I think that I want to spend some reflection time doing that, what you just said, like just writing down, just doing some exploration, self-exploration of like what I am looking for and all of that. I don't know that I can just off the top of my head know right now. Um, I I want to keep exploring this idea of like why it's important to me to make a messy thing beautiful and to like find like I've got to find the beauty in it, and that's what I'm doing through this art. And so just exploring what that is, I
So
think
I
is
would argue that
important.
you don't need to have any answer to that
Okay.
before you decide what's next, because that's your whole reason for doing this. Like that's your art, that's your process. You needing to find beauty in the mess is already what, like, you're scratching that itch through photography. And
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be like, that's what keeps you coming back for more. If you had an answer of like, oh, this is exactly why I need to have like, feel like the mess is beautiful. If you already had an answer to that, you wouldn't need your camera.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great that you don't have a full, like, fledged out answer to that. You have seeds of that, and that's all you need to keep going with the camera stuff. I I'm getting so like picky with you, Kelly,
Yeah.
because I see you veering into this land of like analysis paralysis where you could just spin forever because you don't have any like outside pressure on you to do any of these things necessarily. Like you can make this what you want. And so I fear that for that exact reason, you won't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it doesn't have to be that you have this grand vision or you know the whole picture, but let's just decide like, what's the next step? What's the next offer that I like, the next piece of this that I want to have really figured out? Is it that I want to really like dial in this album sales aspect of things? Or is it
Mm-hmm.
that I really want to do focus on the preset and figure out how to do that? I'm good friends with Jess Kettle, who sells presets and
Mm-hmm.
has for a long time. She'd be happy to help. And like
Okay.
the shortest way out is who, not how. And so with anything that you want to do, I just want you to not get so tripped up in like the how am I going to do this and still like feel like I'm so lit up and loving every minute of it. And just think about like, okay, who's already done this that I have access to?
Okay.
And can I like get something through them? Which you can.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Wow.
Kelly, for you,
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear from you next week, if possible. You can do whatever reflection you want in this week, my friend. But
Okay.
after that, like we need to get into some sort of planning phase, some sort of like not necessarily doing, but just like visioning phase where you nail down something specific. Because otherwise, I just think you're going to spin in like all the things that you could do if you wanted to, and you'll do some here and there, but you won't have the impact and you won't be the landscape changing photographer that you are needed and meant and called to be. So maybe you need to spend some time with like, what's going to happen if I don't? What's going to happen if I don't do any of this stuff? And maybe that's all fine with you. Maybe you do decide like, hey, I just really don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
But next week, I would love to hear where you've landed and like what's next for you.
Okay.
Does that work?
I am going to give some time thinking about this idea too. I know more thoughts, but about like, do I not like some of these things because I don't like them, or because I don't haven't, it's like outside of my comfort zone. I haven't done it a lot. I don't, think
No.
different, you know, and so it creates pressure, and then I don't like the pressure, so I want to try to think that through too.
Well, you just thought it through already. I hate to keep bringing that back to you, but
Yeah.
you just said it. Like, I don't think it's that you're going to actually hate customer service so much as that you just don't want to figure out exactly how to do it because you've never done it before and you're like maybe a little afraid to do it wrong. But like,
Yeah, and I'm talking specifically in terms of like types of shooting, like families or babies or milestones, things like that.
okay.
But yes, that's a great application in a larger sense too. That like also probably
Yeah,
true.
I think that you have a thing, and I have this thing too, where I used to not want to do something unless I was pretty sure I was going to be good at it.
Mm. You
Am
see
I
me
right or
too
am I
well.
right?
Yeah,
Yes or yes?
for
And so,
sure.
like, you don't have to go there. You don't have to do anything that you're not pretty sure you're going to be good at.
Well, no, I think failure is a good thing. And I'm like,
See?
I'm for sure it is. And I have not experienced that in most areas of my life, except for like my motherhood, which is just
I know, isn't that fun? Isn't that so
right.
fun when you're like,
Yeah.
you guys have no idea how good I am over here. You just don't even have any clue.
Right.
And I'm sucking right here right now, but like, I wish you could see me over there.
Right. For sure.
um, so that's what I want you to reflect on is like, what happens if you just don't? What happens if you don't do any of this and you don't push yourself to do stuff that you are probably going to be bad at in the beginning?
Yeah.
What happens if you just do things that you're pretty sure you're going to stay good at? Like you're really good at the motherhood stuff. You're really good at what you're already doing. And that's great. Like please let's keep that. We don't have to fire that and throw it out the window.
Sure.
But like what else is calling to you that's saying like, "Hey, you would become bigger, your life would become bigger, your impact would become bigger if you go after this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Try this thing.
Yeah, I
Figure
mean
other thing."
that is the deep work of my self-exploration, because it is so hard for me to know my own self as to what I really love versus what I love because it's been reinforced by accolades or being good at something or whatever. And so it is difficult to tease that out for me, and I just need to sit with it.
Yeah. And I would argue that this is the last thing I'll say. I would argue that that's not something you can think your way to knowing, that it's something you have to fumble and act your way to knowing.
Okay. I'm going to be brave.
You are brave. I'm being hard on you because
That's
I
good.
just can't wait to see what you do. That's really the truth. So please come back to us next week with doesn't have to be a full-fledged plan, but just like a next step or a next focus area. Okay, you're amazing.
Thank you.
I mean that for real. I mean that for real. Okay, we've got a few minutes left that I would like to open it up to the two of you, Natasha and Michelle, if you want to get some feedback on things, if you have questions, just anything that I can help with for you too.
I'll go for a second, I guess.
Oh, amazing.
So I rescheduled my studio booking for like a week or two after Mother's Day. And so right now the plan is to do some like motherhood mini sessions. And I think I reserved the studio for like 3 hours. So I'll probably be able to do like 3 or 4 sessions, I'm thinking. So yeah, I'm just like in the process of working on that and getting things like creating like mood boards or content that I could post on social media to like advertise. I did do like a post last week. And I was planning on like engaging more with that, but then my grandma passed away. So I kind of just like didn't work on it at all. But I didn't really get like any response to the post. So now I'm just like, and obviously I need to do like stories and more posts, but I think that's going to be kind of my focus over the next month. So hopefully I can like at least book those 3 spots, which like I'm not even sure if I can do that. But if I can at least book 3 like mini sessions so that the studio doesn't go to waste, that would be great. So I don't know. I have notes written down from last time, like some of the advice you gave me as far as like making mood boards so people kind of know what to expect. And but yeah, I'm just feeling kind of like restless maybe because I like want to be creating so bad, and I feel like my personal projects have been really fulfilling and like meaningful to me, but I don't know, like I think people look at it and relate to it, but I'm not sure if they're like they look at it and think, oh, like I want that for me, like I'd hire her, like you know what I mean? Like I don't know if they look at my personal projects and think like, oh, I want to hire her, but it is like relatable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think those are kind of some thoughts that I'm having about
Mhm.
like where I'm at right now with
Totally.
creating.
Totally. Love it. Thank you for sharing. So I want to back up to the mini sessions and then we can talk about personal project. So when you think the thought, I'm not even sure if I can book 3
Yeah.
sessions, how do you feel?
Not good. I mean, like I want to believe it, and like that's part of why I booked it, because it was like, okay, I'm just putting this out into the universe, like I'm booking it, I'm paying for it, and like I have to fill these slots, you know.
Mhm.
But I just haven't had a lot of like evidence that that's going to be
Yep.
true. So it's
Yeah.
just I kind of have like disillusionment maybe about it.
Totally. Totally. And that's totally normal because you're looking to your past. Like, okay, I haven't been able to do this before. No evidence. So it doesn't have to be, the thought does not have to go from like, I'm not sure if I can book these 3 spots to like, I'm totally sure. And like, there's no question about it. So we're just playing with like, what if we find sort of a bridge belief that's something like, um, I can't wait to see what happens after I do all these, after I share my whole vision, after I um, do all the, like, send all the emails. This is going to be fun. So, like, with my class that I just did, that was totally new and like different for me. I was not sure how that was going to go at all because I had no evidence from the past, totally new, right? And so when it wasn't getting the traction that I wanted it to get right out of the gate, then I did not go immediately to like, okay, yes, I'm going to hit my goal and for sure I'm going to do it. I went to like, this is such a fun experiment. It'll be so cool to see how this all turns out. And the other cool thought that I kept coming back to is like, I'm just a few tweaks away.
Yeah.
So I think that's another like thought that could help you because when you think the thought and you say the words, I'm not even sure if I can book these 3 sessions, you don't feel like doing any of the things that are going to help you book the sessions, right? You feel like crawling in a hole and dying and just being like, nope, I can't. It's not happening for me. So we want to believe that we're so special. And the ironic thing is you are so special, but also you're not. It just is going to be tweaks. It's really not magical. It's just how many tweaks are you willing to do before you click in and figure out, okay, these are where my people are, this is what they want, this is how I can speak to them and call them into me. So the other thing I wonder about for you, Michelle, is like just getting your work out to a wider audience because I feel like the audience that you have, they are into what you do, but I think we just need a broader reach. So I would wonder about connecting with like local, like I've talked about before, shops or influencers or just like people who are adjacent to you who might be interested not in photography, remember, but in the ideas that you're interested in. So moms carving out a space for themselves. What businesses are also aligned with moms carving out a space for themselves and reconnecting with their selves, true selves. And like I, this is the other thing that I do with like things where I'm not sure if I'm having thoughts where I'm uncertain about how many things I'm going to book or whatever, is I also like to ask myself, like, how could I guarantee my success? How could I just like take so much action that it would just be like insane for this not to work out for me? Like the amount of marketing and like times that I talked about Dress to Create, which was the $29 class, was absurd. Absolutely absurd for the price point, right? But I was just like, this is so fun. This is going to be, I'm going to guarantee my success. So if I were you and I was thinking, how can I guarantee my success? I would be thinking like, is there a local dress boutique that I could partner with that would want to like rent out dresses for these shoots that they would then share on their Instagram that I'm doing it with them. And even if you were paying, I mean, and you could figure out the payment aspect of it now or later, but like, if they were going to share about it X number of times or send out to their email list that's bigger than your email list, just thinking about like what ways could you, what avenues, again, who, not how, like who can get you in front of more people that would be aligned with this particular offer. And so maybe it's a motherhood clothing boutique. Maybe it's an arts focus, something or other. Like, are there specific museum curators that are local that you could get hooked in with and say like, hey, you know, here's this project that I've been working on and I'm really excited about it. Do you know anybody who would be potentially interested in like helping me as I continue this project? And like, you don't even have to, there's no direct connection to the mini sessions, but like, it really is just, it's such a little Tetris game where like you just connect to the right person and all of a sudden they're like, well, actually there's this big grant that you didn't know about and you could apply for this grant to like get funding for to continue your project. Or maybe it's that you like do some more connection with the Fine Lab and you're asking them like, hey, do you guys ever, would you ever consider sponsoring a project like this? I know they're probably not doing that kind of work right now, but they might say yes. And they might also say like, hey, we're not doing that at the moment, but we could send you a couple rolls of film or like whatever it is, you know? And also just like making those connections where all of a sudden they know who you are and they're starting to watch your work. So I would recommend brainstorming like lists of, and also like local publications. So Salt Lake magazines and SLC Moms and like those types of places that you could just be like, and it can just be as simple as the SLC Moms messaging them on Instagram with a voice message that says like, hey, I love what you're doing so much. After if you actually follow them, actually engage with what they're doing, actually share like, I love following SLC Moms because XYZ. Hey, I love what you're doing so much. I'm doing these motherhood mini sessions that are really focused on moms reconnecting to their true selves and highlighting the ways that motherhood is beautiful. I know you probably can't feature every photographer that like reaches out to you, and I totally get that. Make it about them. And I totally get that, but I just thought of you and wondered if this is something that you might want to share on your Instagram with your followers on stories. If so, here's some text for you to share and here's a couple of slides that you make on Canva that you can send out to people. And then it's just a numbers game from there. Like, reach out to SLC moms, but also reach out to 5 other outlets. And if one out of those 5 is like, sure, yeah, we want to support local artists, blah, 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 then they share it, and then you get like it's gonna build. It's gonna build. But I would focus on who you can bring into your world that's gonna magnify what you're already doing, because what you're already doing is so solid. We just need to get more eyes on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. I have been thinking about like, yeah, just local businesses that I like or connections that I might have, and it's been like a lot harder than I thought. But I think I just need to like dig deeper and keep thinking and like finding yeah, local businesses and people that I can connect with who can share.
It could even, yeah, it doesn't even have to be directly related. It can be local mom bloggers, food bloggers, like influencers. Go for that too. It doesn't have to just be only businesses.
Yeah. Yep. That's good. Yeah, no, I wrote down a bunch of notes from what you just said, so I'll definitely work on that.
Okay, so every time that little voice comes back, you're just like, this is gonna be fun. It's an experiment. I'm so excited to see how it turns out. I'm so excited to guarantee my own success.
Yeah, I like that thought. It's definitely better than feeling like not gonna work out or that I'm just gonna like stay stuck where I am. So
Yeah. And do you have a specific launch date too where the spots open? Because that's another really powerful thing where you can do a countdown of like, make sure that you're on the email list because you're the first, are the first to know. Spots open on X date, and then you're like sharing leading up to when the spots actually open for purchase. And then I would also have a deadline where they can no longer be purchased after that deadline.
okay.
So it's like I would say a 3 or 4 day window for you would be good. This is something you've never done before. So 3 or 4 days where people can buy the spots, and it's either, yeah, it's first come first serve, but if they're not sold in those 3 or 4 days, then the cart is closed and they're done. Nobody can buy them after that.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't really like thought that through, but I think that's a good idea. I'll definitely do that.
The other thing you could do to guarantee your success is if you, and these are all just like cross that bridge when you come to it type of things. If you have 1 day left of the cart and you don't have all your spots full, you can start to direct message people like who have talked to you before, like, oh, hey, I know we've talked about photography before. I'm doing these motherhood mini sessions and I just thought of you. Here's the link.
Yeah.
Super casual, not salesy, but just like they're busy. You're just letting them know, here it is.
Yeah. For this being like a mini, like 20 to 30 minute thing, do you have like a max price that you would like? Because I'm trying to pay for like the studio and the film and development and everything. So I've been trying to figure out like a good price, and I've just been seeing other people locally posting like mini sessions for like
no, don't look at other
$300 and they get an album and all the pictures, and I'm just like, I can't charge that little.
Michelle, please stop looking at other photographers.
Okay.
This is killing you.
But I'm
not kidding.
Yeah, I've just been like, because I had a price that I thought would be like a good price, considering like all the expenses, but I'm just nervous, I guess, that people aren't going to want to pay that much for like a mini session.
I don't have time to go on a soapbox again, Michelle. What's going on? Okay, so you need to have your price is your price is your price is your price.
Yeah.
So once you've run all your numbers, then your mini session, the very lowest that I would say is possible for you to charge is $500.
Yeah, I was thinking like probably around 450 or 500, so that seems right.
Is your full session, is it structured at 1,000 so that they need to, yeah, so it should actually be a little bit more than 500 because why would they pay for a full session if they can get a mini session for half price? Exactly. You know? But for you, 500, I would say is a great starting point. You can do 495 if you want to make it a little bit more psychological wise.
Yeah.
Please keep us updated.
Okay.
You're going to kill it, but I can't tell you if you don't believe it. So try that bridge belief of like, this is fun. This is going to be an experiment. No effort here is wasted. Because also you're going to send that thing to the SLC moms and maybe they share it, maybe they don't, but now they know who you are.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Keep us posted.
Okay.
Big hugs
Thank
to you guys.
you.
Bye.